We know that the pressure on actors to maintain a personal life while juggling these grueling production schedules is immense, but the way our beloved stars are choosing to navigate this or struggle with it is becoming the most interesting story of the year. I believe we are witnessing a transition from the typical soap tropes to something far more visceral and real. If you ask me, the way Steve is handling his return to the role of Jason is a masterclass in professional evolution, and it's hitting our screens in July. We can clearly see that the shadow of Jason looms larger than ever. For those of us who have followed this saga for decades, the return of such a pivotal character isn't just a casting note, it's a seismic event. I think we all felt that void when he was gone, and now, seeing the pieces fall into place for his reentry, our minds are completely blown by the implications. If you ask me, it's not just about the character, it's about the actor's journey. Steve has been very public about the difficulty of balancing his new life in California with the intense demands of the show, but he seems to have found a way to bridge that gap. Guys, don't underestimate the power of a man who has made a hard choice to step back, recalibrate, and then come back stronger. I suspect this version of Jason will be hardened by his time away, carrying that weight in a way that makes his interactions with the rest of the cast feel more dangerous than ever before. Let's dive into the atmosphere of Port Charles. Imagine the cold, salt-heavy air hitting the docks at night, the kind of night where the shadows seem to stretch toward the water, and you know trouble is waiting in the dark. This is the world Jason lives in. He isn't a character who finds peace easily. He is the anchor to the chaos that is the Corinthos family. If you ask me, the writers are setting up a collision course that will force Jason to choose between the life he desperately wants to build and the loyalty he feels toward the people who define his existence. I think we need to pay attention to the silence in his eyes. When he returns in July, look for the subtle changes, the hesitation that wasn't there before. That's the real story, guys. That's the human element behind the hitman persona. I want you to consider the psychology here. We have spent years watching Jason act as the stoic shield for Sunny, but what happens when the shield starts to crack under the weight of its own morality? If you ask me, the upcoming arc is going to test him in ways that his previous missions never did. It is not just about gunfights anymore. It is about the internal war of a man who has lived a life of violence, but is now trying to find a reason to exist outside of it. Do you think he can truly leave the life behind? I don't think so. And I think that's exactly what the writers want us to worry about. We see the patterns repeating, the same faces, the same betrayals, yet the intensity feels different this time because the stakes are no longer just about survival, they are about redemption. Let's talk about those confrontation scenes. We know they are coming. Picture the penthouse, the dim lighting, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. You can almost hear the hum of the city outside as Jason stands face to face with the ones he loves. The way he holds his posture, rigid, controlled, yet vibrating with suppressed emotion, tells us everything we need to know. I've noticed in recent episodes how the dialogue has become sharper, more cutting. It's like the characters are finally saying the things we've been waiting for them to address for years. If you ask me, the confrontation between Jason and those who have been trying to dismantle the Empire in his absence is going to be the highlight of the summer. Every word is a weapon, and every gaze is a challenge. You can see the fear in the eyes of his enemies, and honestly, I am here for it. Guys, I have to ask, do you think he's really ready for what's waiting for him in Port Charles? The landscape has changed so much. New threats, shifting alliances, and a sense of instability that is permeating every street corner. I think we often overlook the fact that while Jason has been absent, the world kept turning and the rot grew deeper. I believe the show is setting us up for a massive reveal, a secret that has been buried in the vaults of the Corinthos history that only Jason can uncover. It's the kind of twist that makes me want to scream at my screen because it feels so inevitable, yet so shocking when it finally lands. If you ask me, the writers are playing a long game, and we are just now realizing how deep the rabbit hole actually goes. I find myself constantly analyzing the way the cast interacts. There's a palpable friction there, especially when the camera focuses on the small nonverbal cues. If you ask me, that is where the true storytelling happens. It is not in the grand speeches, but in the flicker of hesitation before a confession, or the way a hand lingers on a railing as someone walks away. We are seeing a more vulnerable side of our heroes, and it makes the looming violence feel so much more personal. I think we need to brace ourselves for a shift in perspective. If Jason is returning as a changed man, then everyone else in his orbit is going to have to change too, whether they want to or not. That is the kind of character-driven conflict that makes me love this genre so much. Think about the weight of history. Every character in Port Charles is burdened by it. For Jason, that history is a heavy chain that he can't seem to break. I believe the arc starting in July is going to address that chain directly. We will see him struggle with the ghosts of his past while trying to navigate a present that refuses to let him rest. Is it possible for a man like that to find a genuine path to happiness? If you ask me, the answer is a resounding no, and that is why I am so obsessed with this story. The tragedy of Jason is that he is the only one who can save everyone else, but he cannot save himself. It is a classic, haunting narrative device that never fails to keep me on the edge of my seat. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the conspiracy theories circulating among fans. We know there are whispers about who is truly pulling the strings behind the attacks on the harbor. Some say it is a ghost from the past, others say it is a new player who knows exactly how to hit where it hurts. I am leaning toward the idea that it is someone who knows Jason's weaknesses better than anyone else. If you ask me, the most dangerous enemy is the one who has been watching you from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I think we are headed for a reveal that will leave us all breathless, especially if that person is someone we thought was a friend. It's the ultimate betrayal, and it's exactly the kind of drama I live for. Can we talk about the chemistry? It's not just between the romantic interests, but the dynamic between the power players. The way Jason moves through the world of the wealthy and the dangerous is hypnotic. He is a predator in a suit, a man who understands that in this city, you are either the hunter or the prey. I suspect that upon his return, he is going to reclaim his place, but he will do it with a ruthlessness that will surprise even his closest allies. The shift in his character is not just about the actor's personal life. It's a deliberate choice to make him more formidable. I think we are about to see a version of Jason that is less conflicted and more focused, which makes him infinitely more dangerous. I want to focus on the emotional toll this takes. We talk about the action, the shootouts, the intrigue, but what about the loneliness? If you ask me, Jason is one of the loneliest characters in the history of daytime television. He is surrounded by people who claim to love him, yet he remains an island, perpetually separated by his own choices and his own nature. I think the writers are going to lean into that isolation this time around. It is a powerful theme, and I think it will resonate with all of us who have ever felt like an outsider in our own lives. We aren't just watching a show, we are watching a meditation on what it means to be truly alone in a crowded room. Let's look at the pacing of these upcoming episodes. The buildup has been slow, meticulous, and agonizing. But I suspect that as soon as July hits, the brakes are going to be cut. We are looking at a period of intense, high-stakes storytelling where every episode matters. I think we should prepare for a summer that will change the landscape of Port Charles forever. If you ask me, the writers have been saving their best material for this moment, and the result will be a spectacle that we will be discussing for years to come. Do you think anyone will make it out of this next phase unscathed? I highly doubt it. I really want us to think about the nature of truth in Port Charles. Nothing is ever as it seems, and secrets are the currency of the realm. I am convinced that the secret Jason is carrying is going to blow the lid off the entire Corinthos operation. It is a secret that has been festering for years, and now it is finally ready to reach the surface. When it does, I think we will see a chain reaction that no one can stop. It's not just about the danger, it's about the cost of keeping those secrets. The emotional price tag is going to be high, and I think we are all going to feel it. What about the role of the family? The Corinthos clan is the heart of the show, but it's a heart that is constantly being attacked. I believe that with Jason back, the family is going to have to redefine what it means to be part of the inner circle. It's not just about loyalty anymore. It's about survival in an environment that is increasingly hostile. I think we will see a divide forming, a rift that will test the bonds of brotherhood and love in ways we have never seen. It's going to be messy, it's going to be painful, and it's going to be absolutely perfect for television. As I wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The calm before the storm is always the most dangerous part. We are currently in that window of time, waiting for the inevitable clash that will define the rest of the year. I am watching the horizon, waiting for the first sign of trouble, and trust me, it's coming. We are on the precipice of a total war for the soul of the city, and when it breaks, there will be no turning back. Brace yourselves, because the coming conflict in Port Charles will be nothing short of a bloodbath that leaves no one standing in the ruins of the empire.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.